Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Dr. Investor Podcast. Today I have with me Dr. Adebayo Fasanya. He's a board certified pulmonary critical care physician who's also an active real estate investor. He is the CEO and founder of Dr. Breathe Easy Capital. So, welcome to the podcast, Dr. Fasanya.
Hi, Shamim. Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, thank you for coming. I know you've been doing this for a very long time, since 2015 is when you started investing
Yep.
and as a limited partner, and then you've been operating since 2018.
Yes.
And I think you have over 1,800 doors under management.
Yeah. Either co-GP or the one that we sponsored ourselves.
Tell me a little bit about your journey. How did you get started?
So for the question, so from my accent, you guys already know that I'm from Nigeria. Maybe you know that. I originally from Nigeria, came to Canada. I was about 18 years old. So actually since that time, my family, I credit them for that. We are doing reassignment homes at that time. There's a new construction, we put 10% down, and before you finish constructing, we actually reassign the house. So, and then you can actually make money without actually doing on the property itself. So we did that for a little bit, yeah. With not a lot of money, but you pull money together in the community. At that time, I actually did not know that's actually a form of kind of syndication, but just find 10,000 here, 10,000 there, and then like get 100K down, put 10% down for a property, and then you sell it. And when you make money from it or you reassign it, you kind of split the profit with everybody. There's no commission or anything, that was 2000. When first came, I was 18 years old at the time. So that was long, long time, probably before the crash. So that worked for a while. But of course, I went to finish my undergrad. I went to University of Toronto, went to medical school. So of course, I didn't have time to do many of that. So I came back, started doing things again when I was in my residency. I did my residency in New Jersey. So during residency, I make maybe like $50,000, but we do what is called a extra resident coverage. So you can do extra work. So doing that, I was able to make extra money, and I started investing as limited partner at the time. So, and they did well. Those are good times, right? And then when I finished my fellowship, I continued to invest. And when I finished my fellowship was the first time I bought my own personal property and 8 units. And then after a while, I noticed, people started asking me, you know, can I, you know, invest with you, almost like a joint venture. So I started doing that, and then eventually I went full-blown syndication after I had a mentor. So, and it started almost like a hobby, but now it's turned into a full-blown business.
Very interesting. So then, and what are you currently working on? I know you've got a property now.
Actually, went back to back. In June we closed on 405 units in Houston, and then immediately another deal came out, 128 units in Houston. We were able to get a loan for 3.82%. So I couldn't resist the loan assumption. So yeah, we just closed on that also month. And then, so now we're just kind of trying to stabilize all those two properties. So currently, I'm only doing like some personal deals, try to build a four single family home and then sell it. And also I have a 12 units do personally on my own. So yeah, always stay busy, but
Amazing. And you practice medicine?
yes, I do. So that's better, right? Before I had to work 80 hours, 100 hours a week, just to make that capital. Because the more I make the capital, the more I invest, the more I want to invest, I saw the writing on the wall, that really my effort needs to be split. So I need to really focus more into the real estate or real asset. We don't just do real estate, we do oil and gas. Also, we do different assets, buy businesses. So because of that, so I started actually because of my passive income, I was able to quit my job, which was paying me a lot of money. I started started my own private practice. So now I have a nurse practitioner. I'm hiring the second one. So that would give me back my time. And then I can basically do both. So that's exactly what I was trying to do. So, and I have more autonomy, which is the most important thing to me. Ability to determine my own fate, my own destiny, not to be dependent on the, paycheck from someone else.
Right. So how long have you been practicing medicine?
I finished my fellowship in 2018, but of course I've been,
2018. So really, you've only been out 6 years since your
yes,
fellowship.
yes.
Wow. And then you've created your own, I forget, the pulmonary center.
So I started my own private practice this January. Of course, it takes a while to stabilize it. I think we're good now. I got some help. We plan to expand. There's so many verticals in the medical field also. So it just depends how much you want to do, especially in this underserved area. And I'm also very happy kind of solving the problem, which is the main issue. Like in 1 hour radius, most people don't have any pulmonologist. So there's two in town of 120,000 people. So I'm the third one. So there's three. There's two hospitals with one each, one person, and then me. Sometimes 6 months, sometimes a year before you can see a doctor, like a pulmonologist. So for me, ability for me to help in this way, and I can expand, right? I can hire more people. Also, I have a satellite clinic, about 45 minutes away. So that also expand the reach. I'm hoping that in the next 5 years, maybe I have 5 of those and be able to actually reach more people. So I think it's interesting, new challenge.
Yeah. What brought you to Arkansas? You were in Toronto, then New Jersey, and then now in Arkansas.
Yes, I've been used to traveling a lot, of course. From Nigeria to Canada. I went to medical school in the Caribbean. Then I did my clinicals over the US. I was in Miami, I was in Kansas City, I was in Baltimore, I was then New Jersey, and then fellowship in Pittsburgh. And so,
Wow.
but to answer your question, it was really, I'm a Canadian citizen. To be able to stay in the US, I have to be on a J1 visa. J1 visa, you have to work in an underserved area for 3 years. So that's one of the reasons. So there's multiple places, and at that time, that was the best, close enough to the city that I could find. And also, they also offer good amount of compensation at the time, right? Because it's an underserved area. So not many doctors want to come
Right.
there. So it's good. So geographical arbitrage plus the need to get a visa.
So did you start were you working for a hospital or a practice when you first started?
Yes, I was working for a hospital, yes, employed.
Are you still also rounding at the hospital, or are you only in your private practice?
I do 1 week a month because I'm also critical care. I'm pulmonary and critical care. So the only way for you to practice critical care is the hospital. So I do bill for myself. So I do not get paycheck from them. I see my patient, I bill for myself. So I love that, the freedom still. So I go 1 week, help out, and also keep my skills.
And then you're a father of three
Yeah,
children.
yes, and that's
And
enough.
that's it's just amazing how much you're doing. I'm so impressed. I mean, I've known you for a while and I've been watching you for a while, but this is really great to hear how quickly you've amassed such a tremendous portfolio, not only in real estate, but with your own business, and then you're acquiring other businesses as well, and just, extremely broad vision. That's amazing. And then you've got Dr. Breathe Easy Capital, your company that is focused on inspiring other physicians to learn more about finances and investing.
I mean, it's all lumped in together, right? So Dr. Breathe Easy actually had Dr. Breathe Easy Finance, which is a blog. And I've been blogging since 2018 also, teaching other physicians and like early physician about how to pay off debt, to determine how much you need for retirement, save money, and how to invest. Easy Capital came as the next step to that. So now that we've reached that, we've been 6 years out. So now we made some money. So now we need to invest that money. Now we pay off the debt. So, so that's where the real estate syndication finally was, under, right? So all the real estate and kind of syndication is under the Breezy Capital.
So tell us a little bit about your investing strategy. I mean, obviously we're hearing a little bit about it, but what other, like, are you also invested in the stock market? And you mentioned oil and gas. What other things are you invested in?
Yes, like most physicians, we all start with the stocks. You're kind of doing the stock anyways because you're going to have 401k, you're going to have Roth IRA, hopefully, right? So with that,
Yeah.
I have stocks. And then from my residency and fellowship, I got some 401k that I roll over. So all those are in stocks. I also went through, like most entrepreneurs, I went through multiple different things to see what works. So I did forex for a while. I didn't quite, kind of do that great. I went try crypto. I still have some. Then tried day trading. Of course, with my job, I couldn't really keep up. Then I started swing trading. Options. But eventually, I decided I wanted to keep those. But then when the real estate was starting to do better than every other asset classes, like real assets, then I started focusing more on that. So I would say my portfolio currently is probably going to be 50 to 60%, because it depends on the equity, of real estate, and I would say probably about 30% stocks slash some crypto, and then I have like about 10% of asymmetric upside plays. So which means, I'll dedicate like maybe 100K a year to venture capital, like someone who's starting a new company, they want to see the money. I know that only like maybe 10% of those works out, but I, continue to do those, asymmetric upside play of, 10K here, 10K there, maybe do like 5 or 10 for the year. Once in a while, one of them will 25x. So what so that's my portfolio currently. I do have the business. I don't know how to incorporate the kind of the business into my portfolio, but in terms of like things I'm invested, in, that's usually how it's divided currently. So we'll see.
So I know you started so early, so it's hard to say like what. I think that was your strategy to begin with, was to be very diversified in your life and in your investments. I know you're probably talking to a lot of physicians who are maybe now in practice for like 10, 20 years and now are looking for other investments or other strategies. What is your advice to those people? And why do you think that's happening? I think that's another thing I like to ask all my guests is like, what do you think is happening in the healthcare space? Or is it just life that causes, these changes and we all look for other things?
Healthcare space is not what it used to be, right? The first doctor in my family, we have a bunch of, my brother is a doctor too, my younger brother, and then I got some cousins, but it was not, so I cannot compare with, like someone in the family, but from friends and other older doctors that I talked to, the reimbursement continued to go down. Even I face that in the new practice now, right? Where you bill, $400 and then they pay you $100, so these are the kind of things that they face. Also, the employed physician have no autonomy. It used to be in the past, that doctors are well respected. Whenever the hospital want to make a decision, they bring the doctors in. You have to talk about it. But now they just pass a law. That's one of the reasons why I personally quit, because even during COVID, I'm the pulmonologist, lung specialist. Most of the time I was not consulted about what the policy is going to be, about about how to take care of the patient. I just suddenly get like a letter that says from now on, this is what we're going to be doing. For me, I just don't feel like, I matter, right? I just don't feel the autonomy. I'm not able to practice medicine the way I feel it should be practiced. So that's one of the main things that causes the most burnout. It's not just the hours. The hours, we're used to it. I probably work more hours now, right? Between everything I do. But I know I'm doing it for myself. I don't feel stressed. even though I don't mind working 3 days straight, no sleep, but I know I'm doing it for a cause. But doing it while I feel like I'm not appreciated and that my opinion doesn't count. So that's one of the reasons why people get burnt out. I'm glad I have other things I do, like real estate, real asset, because I get depressed or sad about what's happening there. And then by the time I get home, at least I get to analyze some deals to take my mind off. For me, it was, that's what it was doing for me. So I would say physicians, first of all, almost everyone to either decrease their hours, like how much time they have to be doing that, to mental health, or even retire early. So that's the thing. I think autonomy, the fact that you can't really make a difference as much as you think, and the decreasing reimbursement, we think it's going to continue to get worse. So that's why everybody's seeing the writing on the wall. I mean, it used to be like if you're a doctor, you're driving a Lamborghini or something, yeah. But now you look at the parking lots, lot of Toyota Corolla, which is okay. There's nothing wrong with it. I'm just saying that you're not rich because of the student loan too. Some people take 10 years to pay off the student loan, and then you find out you're behind, like you're 35 years old and you're still negative net worth.
I totally agree with you. Yeah, I think, yeah, we start late as far as earning, and then we're starting with a negative balance, and then with all these other factors that you mentioned, with reimbursements, and then I think the moral injury or the lack of appreciation and feeling in control of your practice, your medical practice, and your ability to take care of patients, all of that affects us, mentally, emotionally. And I think, yeah, you're right. I think it's not just about the money as far as investing in these other things. It makes you feel good, like you're more in control of your life and you have a variety of things that you can devote your time and interest and attention to. So tell us a little bit about your time management skills. That's what I really want to hear.
I always tell people that there's no substitute for the grunt. So you have to do the groundwork no matter what. So in the beginning, right? Right now I have staff, right? I have people managing my social media. I have people making calls. I have, a lot of virtual assistants, people doing underwriting. The life is much better. Also, I have clinical staffs. I have nurse practitioner. So I think one thing is to basically focus on being a CEO. You know, you need to learn how to be a CEO. I read the book Traction, right? Which talks about, how to develop operations. Basically you eliminate things that you don't, they're necessary, but you're not really needed for it as much as you think, outsource it, right? So that's how I'm able to do it. So that most of my decision is making the final decision. Before, I used to do everything, right? I find the deal, analyze the deal, send the LOI, do all this, then find the money. But now, somebody find me the deal. I have an acquisition manager that finds the deal, he analyzes it, send it to offshore for underwriting. So give me, and then they've already eliminated 9 out of 10, and then criteria. And then they bring me one that is most likely. Then I analyze that myself. I take a look. So that saves me so much time, number one. So it's basically understanding how to build a team, how to use other people's time. It's going to cost you money, but you need to learn how to also make partnerships, right? Like some have decided they're not even going to operate, right? Like be relations, for some deals. So some deals we do sponsor it, go all the way. And some deals I will come in and help out with key principle, help out with fundraising. So you could do that too, mix it. So that's the thing. And also, like you said about the kids part, wife stays home and she, decided to be like, you know what? There's no way I can stop you from doing all these things you do. So you go ahead and do that. I stay home at hand, take of the kids. Also she also help with some of the real estate too. Actually a real estate professional, based on the rep status.
Yeah.
And she actually does pick up she has the phone from my executive assistant calls her first. She decides what gets to me. So our house is almost run like a business in a way. So
Yeah, it has to.
so that works. You have somebody that's cooperative and somebody that wants to work with you. So that eliminates the stress, of handling some of the management. So yeah, so learn how to build a team, you know, get lucky and have a good spouse.
I think you're so right because I'm like way, like early on compared to where you're at. You've been doing this for 10 years, but now I'm starting to hire help, and it is stressful. Like
Me
it
too.
costs money, like you said, but it's impossible, to really scale or do anything bigger if you don't hire that team. So, and I actually have that book Traction. I haven't read it yet, but I bought it a while back, but I forgot about it. So I'm glad you mentioned it. So yeah,
And with the
very.
audio, you can listen to the
Oh,
audio.
you did the audio.
But Traction is one of those books that you need to actually have it because there's so many writing involved. There's so many things about, write 10 things down, brainstorm this, brainstorm that. So what is your VTO, Vision Tractor Organizer? Like, what is your vision? Can you say it in 2 sentences? What you mean, what you're doing, elevator pitch. So, I mean, just listen to his audio first time and then come back and read it this time. Second time, I already know which section you're gonna need to write, and then just those ones you need to literally sit in your office and go through the exercises.
I feel like I have a lot of books like that where I start in audio and then I have to get the written copy because it's just something tangible about having that written and being able to go back and forth through the pages and find those sections.
Yeah,
So yeah, I think we need both for a lot of things.
true.
Very interesting. It's so inspiring. I love your story. I mean, just, you right out the gate just went big. That's really awesome. Not many people have the courage to do that and are smart enough to do that. I think it was genetically inclined. You've got your family already doing real estate since you were a child and then you just built upon that. That's really great. So any other thoughts you want to share with our audience or advice for other physicians that are looking into real estate?
I mean, what I would say, about mentorship. I know there are so many courses out there. We have one, but we don't push it as much because we actually it's a lot time consuming, even for the for one-on-one coaching. But if you can find someone to help you, if you're really thinking of going active or semi-active on the real estate business, so you definitely need a mentor. Some people will use a mastermind. My partner, Dr. George, he used a mastermind group. For him, it works well because he's not married, no kids. So you can travel. You can go to these events like every month. So there's so many of these things. And then, it helps you. So for me, I did better with one-on-one, a mentor that I helped raise money for like 2 years and also learning from him, doing the asset management. I sit on the meetings, I sit on the calls, you know, and that for me that's the way I learn. So just find you're gonna go through different strategies until you finally find one that works for you. I mean, I bought courses before too that never worked, until I found that one, that mentored me, and then that's one. And secondly is just start somewhere. So I think one thing that I can say that helped my success the most is, it may not be good. It worked out for me. It's just the fact that I usually dive in head first and then figure it out. I did enough due diligence. I'm going to buy these 8 units for myself and see what happens. Different things, different problems, but hey, finally came out of it with like 3x, or more return. So, but it could have gone the other way too. I could have lost the money, and that's okay too. Basically, you need to learn how to do some due diligence, learn some as much as you can. But so many people that are doing better than you are not smarter than you, and that's always bother me too. There are people that you know yourself that they barely got 1.2.0 GPA, and even not just that, but they're doing far much better. But the things that they always take risk. They are risk takers, I mean, calculated risk nonetheless, but you need to do it. So there are many people that's been 5 years now that has been saying, yeah, I was thinking of investing in real estate. And I still talk to them last year, like they're still saying the same thing. And I'm like, I don't understand.
Yeah.
Do you just do one? I don't care which one you do. Go buy a land, build it, sell it. some syndication. Just do something, you know.
Yeah.
At least you get started, and then you get the momentum, and also you learn. Because the faster you start, the more you start learning. Many things that I did like 10 years ago that I look back and I'm like, I can't believe it. I cannot believe myself. Just like things that you think you did the due diligence and you never really check. You look back at how much I do due diligence now. Like now I go with contractor and then the inspector. I show up with the inspector, on my team, and then we go through everyone. So before it was just like I just wait for the inspector report, and I would look at it. I'm like, okay, it said some roof is damaged. Okay, that's the one. And then I tasked the person, can you fix the roof? So that was it. That was the level. It worked out, but I'm just saying that you learn along the way to see that, oh, inspector, they just do a very quick cost rate look and say, hey, But when I have my own people, they give me the assessment right there and then. They're like, okay, this one needs 10,000, this one needs 2,000, this one doesn't need anything. So you even right there and then you already have all the how much capex, and then you look like, oh man, this is a lot. Let's try to negotiate down. So anyway, start early, learn so that you can start learning early. Don't be analyzed by just analysis paralysis. Law of averages, which is another thing. We're lucky so far. Things are going well. I'm always expecting that at one point, just like doing a procedure, you know,
You do
when I was
enough of them. Yeah.
yeah, when I was in fellowship, I remember doing central lines, and then I did so many of them. I must have done like maybe over 200 or 300. And I never got a pneumothorax, no
Yeah.
complication. It got to my head in my third year. I told my attendant, I've never have complications, like I feel like I'm just so good. My attendant just simply laughed. He just said, yeah, you have not done enough. He was like, oh yeah, you've not done enough. And behold, of course, when I was an attendant, it's my first one, when I was practicing on my own. So it's like, look, you do enough, by the time you do 1,000, 10,000, it's going to happen. So you just know that it's a law of averages. Some things are not going to work out at some point. You just have to learn from it, adjust, and keep moving. So
Yeah, amazing. Thank you so much. Such wonderful words of advice and wisdom. So, where can we get a hold of you if people want to learn more about you, your company?
So I'm very, very active on LinkedIn. So you can just look my name. You find there's very few Adebayo Fasanya. You're gonna see it. You can also go on our website, breatheeasy.com, or you can just type in Dr. Breathe Easy Capital. So make sure you click the capital one, not the finance one. And once you get there, there's a lot of free resources that we offer. We have an ebook. I was also part of a book and one Amazon bestseller book, which is called Transformational Journey. So you can download my section for free, or you can just buy it on Amazon. So I have a list of, I think it's 101 questions to ask before you invest in real estate. So that kind of help you to say, okay, there's some questions that you never think to ask, like what happens if the sponsor dies, right? And I got that because somebody asked me that, like kind of morbid, like what happens if you die? I'm like,
Or get hit by a bus, the proverbial bus, right?
I know. I'm like, this is like kind of awkward,
Yeah.
interview. But well, I have a team member. And there's not only me. There's multiple team members, and there's a business plan in
Plan.
place, and they can continue the business plan. You know what I mean? I might be important, but not that important to be failure. For the whole to fail. So yes. Anyway, so there's a lot of questions like that, like how do you plan to exit the deal, and things like that. So yeah, you can find it on our website. So, but
Okay, excellent.
yeah,
Yeah, very important resources. Thank you so much. I hope we can talk again, and I'll continue to follow you and keep learning.
okay. Thank you very much. I know we have
Thank
each other's
you.
cells, so at any time. Okay.
Definitely. Thanks so much.
Thanks for the opportunity, Shamim.
Of
Take care.
course.